And we are live, and welcome everyone back to the Sanctum Sanctorum. I am your illustrious host, Widow's Son, and with me, as always, is Dr. Cyrus Oblivion. Uh, Saturday, 2 p.m., time for us to step into the Sanctum and have some good conversation, a few laughs, some joyful times while we are here, and just see where the show takes us today. It's just going to be the doc and I. We're just going to be kicking back. We might send out a random link to some lucky listener in the live chat or in the Discord. Never know. All depends on how we're feeling. Doc, how are you doing, man?
Pretty good. Got up this morning. Did some karate.
Did your DDP yoga?
Yeah, well, I did part of it. I did the.
Did you diamond cut? Did you diamond cutter your couch?
Yes, that is actually part of the exercises. You do a diamond cutter on your couch, the lamps.
Anything that stands vertically or can stand vertically, you have to do a diamond cutter on it.
Exactly. I mean, and if you can't find anything, you trick one of your neighbors to come outside and you just diamond cutter one of them. I particularly like to do my diamond cutting on my neighbors when they are blackout drunk so they don't remember me doing it.
Or even better, what you could do is do it to like a food delivery person. Like seriously, order some Chinese food or a pizza.
But here's your tip.
Exactly. Like you pay them for the food and then you just give them a diamond cutter as a tip.
Always be expecting the diamond cutter.
Exactly. And then when that person goes back to work, they'll be like, you'll never guess like what just happened to me. And
you got diamond cutter by Cyrus Oblivion?
Just like, can you imagine explaining that to his boss?
Yeah.
Like,
could you imagine him explaining it to the court in the subsequent lawsuit?
Like, no, I think that person would be like too afraid to even press charges. They'd just be like, I don't want him to diamond cut me again. And if you guys are hearing strange noises, I'm making lunch while we're doing the show right now. So, but yeah, I would just love to be a fly on the wall of that conversation between that employee and his boss, just to see the boss's reaction. Just be like, so let me get this straight. You delivered the food. He paid for the food. Yes. He goes to tip you, and he inadvertently puts you in a diamond cutter. Yes. You're fired. Do you think that they would fire a person over something like that?
No, that guy would not get fired. I would get sued though, and have charges pressed against me at the very least if I did that. Or whoever did it. I'm not saying I would do.
No, you just admitted that you would do it. So we have the live proof. Hey, Faith is here. Oh, and apparently her and her friend Ashley are listening in her car on our way to our hometown at this point.
Oh.
So, yeah, we are mobile in someone's car right now.
Woohoo! First time.
Exactly. Woo! First time it's our first time in a car for the show. So
that we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. Fair point. So yeah. You know, when people ask us like, tell us about your first time in a car, be like, well, we were live, and then suddenly somebody told us that they were listening in their car. So yeah, there you go. The strange things that happen. So, okay. So tell us all about your workout today. we know you put the diamond cutter on all the vertical objects in your home. So now I'm assuming that you're going to have to spend a shitload of money to replace them.
Yeah. Well, I made sure they were already breakable. So what I do is I've got rebreakable lamps here.
Like a collapsible lamp.
I just set it up here.
Do you stand it upright and talk shit? I mean, like if it's your couch, do you stand it upright and talk shit to it before you put the diamond cutter on?
It depends on the mood I'm in.
It's like, what? And then, like, you just, it's like it's like a bad wrestling promo. I wish Wanderer was here right now. He would eat this up.
Yeah, I just look at my couch and I'm like, what'd you say to me? Oh, wait, you didn't say anything. I'm just lonely.
Yes, Faith says, yes, we are mobile. So,
yes, y'all are mobile.
It's like, check them out, man. They're mobile.
So, but basically, DDP Yoga has this morning wake up routine that you can do.
This episode of the Sanctum Sanctorum is unofficially sponsored by DDP Yoga. Go ahead.
So you do this beginning workout, it's called wake up. So it's like the first thing you do when you get out of bed, and it does what it does. It just wakes up your muscles, wakes up your joints and your back and everything. So especially if you've got back problems or hip problems, I highly recommend it. And or if you're just one of those, you notice that you creak when you get up and walk around, use that.
That doesn't mean that you're old. That just means that you're crispy.
Yeah, I'm not saying it means you're old. I'm saying like some of us have some significant wear and tear on our bodies that before we even hit 50.
Trust me, I'm well aware of that.
But the cool thing about that is, so there are a set of DVDs you can get. So if any that are called Rebuild, and so if anybody has significant problems that the regular workouts would be impossible for them to do, the Rebuild DVD starts you off lying in your bed and sitting in a chair. So you get a foldable chair and you do some of those exercises, and then they build you up to where then you can start doing the more advanced yoga exercises. And they have literally rebuilt a ton of people. You go to their website. The first guy that did that is the one who did who inspired all the Rebuild DVDs. He was a Desert Storm veteran. His name is Arthur Borman, and he was a parajumper. Paratrooper, and he was in the Army.
Parajumper is not the right term.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, paratrooper. Sorry.
You hang your head in shame.
Well, it already hangs in shame. It can't hang any lower.
Well,
brought up Baptist and all. But what happened is, so Arthur was a fully disabled vet. He was having to wear a back brace. His wife would have to help him put on his back brace, and it would take him over an hour just to be able to get ready, just so he could get out of bed. And he would have these 2 crutches that he would have to use, and the doctor's like, you'll never be able to walk normally again. This is the rest of your life. Well, he approached DDP, and that was like, hey, can you help me? I've turned everywhere else, and DDP was like, I don't know how I can help the guy. And so he was like, but we'll try something. Well, he started giving the guy some exercises and the DVDs, and then Arthur started adjusting the exercises, because one of the big things that they say in the DVDs and all the exercises, if you get the app, are make this your own. So Arthur, knowing full well he couldn't do even the beginner exercises, even the modified version of the beginner exercises, he started using chairs and other types of objects to help him get stability, and then he was able to graduate from it. And once he did, you see him slowly in the video get rid of the crutches, get rid of the brace. Then he's walking with a cane. And then he finally gets rid of the cane and he's running a full sprint. And now they use him in the DVDs. He's one of the guys that you see who have benefited from the program, and he lost a ton of weight. And he's a true inspiration. He's he's one of DDP's favorite people. And I tell that story to say that if anybody's having significant problems, they can look at his story, and that should give them hope. And they've rebuilt people who were previously were given up on by doctors.
Right. Are you secretly getting paid by DDP Yoga? Because, I mean, honestly, it's it is really like our unofficial sponsor, like every week.
If I were getting paid, it wouldn't be a secret.
No, because you would be sharing it with me.
Yeah, I would be telling everybody I'm a paid sponsor, and I'd also have to disclose it for, legal reasons.
Yeah.
But I do like. But no, it's just done me a lot of good. So I've also been doing intermittent fasting, and I told you this yesterday. So last Friday, when I started this program with intermittent fasting and watching what I ate, doing all this exercising. Well, let me back up for a second. So when the quarantine first started, I was weighing about 242, and then I got DDP Yoga app and the DVDs, and I went, you know what? I'm going to get down to a good, at minimum, 180, because for my height, that is the maximum weight. I said, I'm going to start doing that. So I started doing DDP Yoga, started doing some other exercising during quarantine. And then I was like, so then I plateaued on the weight loss, and I just went, okay, I got to do something else. And so then I got this Do Fasting app, and I've lost a total of 14 pounds. And keep in mind, I'd lost down to about 230 and then came back up. And when I weighed in, I was about 233 last Friday. Yesterday when I weighed in, I weighed 298. Not 298, but 228. So I went from 242, I went from 233 to 228 in a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's a combination of intermittent fasting, which for people who don't know what intermittent fasting is, you have only a block of time in the day that you can eat. So right now I'm on an 8-hour eat and 16-hour fast. So during that 8-hour window, that's when I eat my food, but I'm still watching what I eat. I'm still keeping it around 1,600 calories. And then I'm also doing all my exercising, my yoga, karate, running. My run has actually gotten down to about a 12-minute mile now. And,
oh, wow.
And yeah, and my goal, the big milestone I have is a 10-minute mile. And so just doing all of this, it's really helping me shed the weight. But now I'm adding full body exercises into it, like, more, push-ups and sit-ups. And it's one of those things that, like, from this weight loss journey, and really it's a lifestyle change. One thing I would encourage anybody is your end result. If you're shooting for your end result, like for me, I'm shooting for 180. As you begin to see improvements, you begin to take on harder tasks, and you start really pushing yourself more because you want to keep seeing those results. And if you just kind of go, okay, I'm good. Like if I were to say I hit that 10-minute mile and I go, you know what, I'm not trying to push any faster. I'm not trying to push for any longer running time. Yes, Faith, we agree with you on that.
Yes, we have been saying that for weeks. Like we want, like we're in a non-threatening, completely respectful manner. We're calling DDP out. That's what we're doing.
I'll tweet it. I can actually tweet this episode to him and be like, "Hey, listen to the first few minutes of this."
We're calling you out, buddy. come on the show and have a good time with us.
But yeah, but as you keep really pushing yourself and pushing your body, like I was saying, like if I were to say the 10-minute mile is my milestone, but I just stop there, I'm like, okay, I run 2 miles in 20 minutes, and I'm not really pushing myself even farther to even run farther or to have a faster time.
This is what you should do when you hit the 10-minute mile. Make sure that. Wait a minute. What?
Tell your souls to get up.
I think they would probably be returned rather quickly.
Well, I'm a ginger, so that just basically leaves widow.
Right. I'm part ginger, so.
So you got half of one.
Yeah. So no, what you should do is when you hit your 10-minute mile, make sure that you end the mile somewhere that has a stop sign, and right when you get up to the stop sign, you diamond cut it.
DDP, this is for you.
No, you do like a full-on run diamond cutter on a stop sign.
After running 2 minutes, after running 2 miles, yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, if I stopped it like that, that was my milestone, and I just stopped there, and I didn't push myself any farther than that. And I just kept doing everything else the same. There is a very strong possibility that my ultimate goal would not be met, or it would take me much longer to get there, and then I may even just plateau. So what I'm doing is, as I am getting healthier, I'm pushing myself even farther, because again, my ultimate goal weight is 165,
right?
Because that's a good healthy weight, and then but also too, realistically, my body is meant to carry muscle or fat. So I know that I'm also, so 165 may be a little bit unrealistic for me, because as I'm doing the full body exercises, I'm actually packing on muscle, and my body like puts on muscle like that. It puts on muscle faster than people putting on hazmat suits in a chemical nerve agent outbreak.
Wow, what a great comparison. Just like, hey, this exercise is great, and it's better than putting on a hazmat suit when you've got mustard gas coming your way. Just bear that in mind. Just bear that in mind when your lungs are closing and your eyes are watering and popping out of your skull and all of this. Just remember that exercise was way more important than saving your own life.
Well, you are saving your own life. Really, realistically, you're preventing heart disease. You're preventing.
Well, yeah, but you're comparing it to putting on a hazmat suit. I mean, I don't know.
No, I didn't compare it to putting on a hazmat suit. I compared it to putting it on faster, the speed time.
Regardless, it still has to do with the action of putting it on.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, my body puts on muscle faster than people putting on hazmat suits.
Well, your mouth also produces bullshit faster than anybody else's that I've ever known. So
that's because my body puts on muscle so fast.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with muscle. It's just you full of shit most of the time.
Well, funny you mentioned that. One of the days when I went to go weigh myself, and sorry for the grossness of this, but I went and took care of business in the bathroom, and before I did that, I weighed myself, and I
look. A public bathroom is no place to do that. Okay,
no, it's my own private bathroom. It was $2.99. I weighed 299.5, and then once I finished up, I weighed myself again, and I weighed 299.1. So that happened this week.
Well, at least you finished, I guess. I don't know. God, you have the most awkward way of explaining things. It's just like, so yeah, I weighed myself, and then I went in the bathroom and handled some business, and then I came back and did it again, and I lost a pound. I lost like a drop of water, or like half a cup of water. Give me first here. Let's see. if you have ever seen Bedfellows, the episode about drinking is my goal, being able to break down a floor that way is my muscle goal.
I've never seen Bedfellows.
I'll have to look that up.
We'll have to watch that after this.
Yeah, because we can't. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, so for those of you who remember I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I mentioned the copyright claim that we got after we did the 50 sub episode. Fast forward about 10 days, I got another one for the same video.
Wait, what?
Another claim for the same video. And I think it had to do with the first video that you showed, the countdown thingy. So
wait. How was the countdown video okay? And it's not officially released by the wrestling organization, but us critiquing it, which is an actual fair use application, is not okay.
Well, because it's still copyrighted material, and if that particular
copyrighted, even if it's copyrighted, fair use, criticism is covered under fair use.
Let me finish the sentence. It's a fair use situation, but it's still copyrighted material. So you still have to put a disclaimer either on the video or in the description saying that you don't own the material and it's copyrighted.
Well,
so they can still.
Didn't we say? Didn't we say that this is? I mean,
no, like it literally has to be in writing.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
So I think that's what may have occurred. So I had to go back in and let the YouTube algorithm trim the video down again.
Golly, YouTube, man. Well, it's like, okay, so that's a good segue here. So one of the recent problems that I've noticed is a lot of these big tech giants like Google, which owns YouTube, Facebook, which owns Instagram, and I think WhatsApp, yeah, it owns those two. And then you've got, obviously like Microsoft and Apple. The thing I don't like about these really, really big tech conglomerates. So first, the good things. These big tech conglomerates, they're able to provide services that if they weren't so big, you would not be able to get them. That's about the only good thing that comes about from that. The downsides, I think, are probably weigh just as much, if not more, because you look at it, these companies and these big tech companies have been known to do this. Like Facebook has done this, where if there's an app that's a competitor of theirs that has a feature that they don't have, that people are gravitating towards that app because the new app has a feature that Instagram doesn't have or Facebook doesn't have, they instantly just start working on it to try to add that to their app to keep people from using the new app, or they will just flat out buy the app, and that's what they did with Instagram. And then you've got where you, like in the Democratic primaries this last year, and I'm using this as an example, not using this to talk about politics, but one of the things that they did to Tulsi Gabbard is her campaign had actually paid for advertising space. After that debate where she went after Kamala Harris and just laid into her, she was the most searched person on Google the very next day. Google instantly would not play her ads. They rejected them, and they wouldn't give them a reason. So Tulsi Gabbard's campaign had to sue Google. So you have one case where the giant tech companies are trying to crush any competition or buy it outright. And that actually used to be the thing that people did in the 90s. They would start up these tech companies, have something that Microsoft wanted, let Microsoft buy them out, then Microsoft would absorb the technology and kill the company that they had just acquired, but the people who owned the company previously were rolling in cash. And then the other thing that you see is Google can then change their algorithm or bump somebody down to where if they have a particular vendetta against someone, if they don't like someone, they can totally change how those search results come up. Twitter has been notorious to shadow ban people. And what shadow banning is, for those of you who don't know, is if, let's say you tweet some things that Twitter doesn't like or some other people don't like or whatever, but you haven't done or said anything that gets you outright banned, you haven't really violated their terms of service.
Right.
They can then fix it to where nobody can search for you. They only have to find your link. They have to find your link and then go to your page. And then they can get to where none of your tweets are showing up. And that's something they've done to a lot of people. And they've been called out on it. And they deny it. But yet people have actually proven they've done it. And so you've got a situation where now you've got these big tech companies. Not only are they a platform for you to see what that, and that's how Facebook and Twitter and a lot of these other apps that we use are described. They are platforms, which means that and YouTube is supposed to be a platform, which means that they are not responsible for anything that their users upload. Also, they can't function as editors, like content editors. And what we're seeing with these big tech companies who are platforms is they actually are acting as content editors now. So the protections that they have because their platforms don't exist for news sites and other types of content providers. But they're acting like those content providers with all of the protections that they get as platforms. So they're kind of getting the best of both worlds at this point. And sorry to rant like this about the whole YouTube thing, and I understand that YouTube has concerns about lawsuits and everything. But there are clear-cut cases where you are using fair use, where you're criticizing it, where it doesn't even have to be in writing that you are doing this. How would news stories be able to discuss anything? And you can actually use quotes, you can use audio, you can use anything if you're discussing it, because fair criticism and news are covered under fair use.
Oh, Cryvale's here. Hey, man, what's going on? What? Who the disliked the stream? What?
Oh, he was talking about the stream that we remember, the stream that a lot of people didn't like. Or
oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that was. And we actually discussed that last night. The show where that did take place is it is a bit. Oh no, we already have a dislike on this one. Is what he's talking about.
oh,
I was just pulling it up to take a look. I have no idea. Could be just yeah. Like episode 15, which was where we were just kind of, goofing off, and it was we finally got 50 subs and all this other kind of stuff. The episode 15 was pretty dark. A lot of dark content on that.
we decided to stay clear from that for a while. Dark content.
Right. The story really, honestly, the only thing that I can say is just go listen to the episode. There's not really a way for us to really put that into words without kind of delving back into what we were talking about in that particular episode. So I would just suggest going and listening to it. And as far as whoever disliked the stream, that's their decision. But we haven't really. We've just been like talking about DDP yoga again and putting the diamond cutter on random vertical objects in your home and delivery people and stop signs and
all jokes, obviously.
Yes.
Apparently, we have to disclose we weren't actually encouraging anyone to assault delivery drivers.
Right. Don't diamond cut your Uber driver, okay?
Or anybody who brings you food. You should actually really tip them legitimately. Oh my gosh.
Now, on the other hand, if you're out in public somewhere and somebody starts messing with you and you tell them to leave you alone and they don't, diamond cut them.
Yes, I support this.
But I'm still waiting to. I don't. I don't. Like I said, I don't know who's already disliked the stream, but hey, that's their choice. Probably just a lurker who wants to give us a thumbs down, but hey, it's whatever. Sorry that whoever that was didn't enjoy the show. Whatever. I mean, that's one thing. Go ahead.
Well, and people, I mean, as this thing grows, people are going to not like it because we're not going to win everyone over. It's impossible to. So just So we were talking about
it would have had
I guess talking about DDP yoga. That's what it was. That or diamond cutting inanimate objects. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
I get disliked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move on past the dislikes. Not fun. Worry about it because
if someone's bothering you in public, just throw them into a wood chipper.
I always have that attached to my vehicle.
Yeah. I can't go anywhere without my portable wood chipper.
You never know.
Give me just a minute to warm this up, and then it's like, give me just a minute to warm this up, and then the fight is on. Okay. But yeah, hey, we've got loyal people, and people stumble upon it, and they'll thumbs down it. But hey, whatever.
Alrighty.
But
it may be YouTube's algorithm who doesn't like us talking about YouTube.
Wood chipper. Feet first.
Feet first.
But why feet first?
Don't answer that. Don't. That's one of those questions you just don't ask.
Hey, he may answer it. Excuse me. I'm wondering where Wanderer is. He's usually here by now, unless he got like called back to work, or he's out with his lady friend. But it's weird not seeing him in here right now. But so,
okay. So
trying to, but going, kind of back to that episode. Just go and listen to it. We started out kind of really on a dark subject matter, and it just slowly went downhill from there. I mean, the episode wasn't bad, but it's just the place that we don't want to take it on a regular basis, if that makes sense. I just kind of, I mean, yes, there's dark discussion streams all over YouTube and all this other kind of stuff, and one every once in a while is fun. It's absolutely fine, but not on a consistent basis. Which it's, I mean, that's not where we want to take what we're doing here. So, and Cryville, in case you didn't know, we're mobile right now because we're being listened to in someone's car. That has been confirmed. So, sound like we're having a slow day? Oh no, we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, keep going. I got some cool news though.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, you finish what you're saying, and I'll tell the cool news.
No, not a slow day. This is just a day where we like to. This is just one of those days where we just kind of like to take her easy. I don't mind dark stuff occasionally. I don't either. I mean, I watch documentaries and stuff like that all the time. So this can kind of be just a break from that. You know what I mean? But hey, we do what we do, you know? So what is your cool news?
Does anybody remember G4 TV?
Yes, the video game channel.
It's coming back.
Really?
Yep. So I like the show. I can't remember the name of the show that they had that I always watched, but it came on.
Was it Attack of the Show?
Yes, that was it. I love that show. Mainly because Candace Bailey was on the show, but I mean, I love that show, man, and it's coming back because apparently Comcast still owns the name. They still own everything about it, and after 6 years, they've decided to bring it back, and it's returning next year. So there are some good things that have come out during this pandemic.
I mean, my question is, why did they cancel the channel in the first place? I mean,
it was they didn't really cancel it. They turned it into what was it, like GQ TV, and because I think their viewership had started to drop, and it was a lot different than what had happened when it started off as Tech TV. So then they became G4 TV, and some of their viewership dropped over the years, and so I think they just changed it. But here's the cool thing: in this news article I've pulled up, former so far the brand appears to have revived YouTube accounts for G4, Attack of the Show, and X-Play, which is unsurprising since those are the channel's most well-known programs. Former G4 stars and hosts have also been tight-lipped about any information regarding the reboot. Although Morgan Webb, Adam Sessler, Kevin Pereira, Sarah Underwood, and Olivia Munn have each posted about it in their Twitter accounts since last week. So they're all so I don't know if they're returning. It doesn't seem like it because everybody's tight-lipped, but it would not be surprising to me if those old hosts did return, or the former hosts did return, because how are you going to bring it back and not bring them back that people remember,
Yeah, I get that. I watched it just a little bit. Actually, that's where I started watching American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, yeah, I remember that came on. Because then they started doing some other shows. They actually had a show on that had Ryan Dunn and Jessica Chobot. It was either that or USA Network, and it was...
hey, check your Facebook Messenger real quick.
It was right before Ryan Dunn died. They got like 2 episodes in, and then he unfortunately died. So yeah, that's so yeah, man. That was the really cool thing about that. And so let me ask the audience, what do y'all think about G4 TV coming back? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you think, oh no, this is going to be a train wreck, and I am going to watch the entire wreck occur? So moving on to the next story that I have. So does anybody remember back when Tool's new album came out? And no, I'm going to save that one. We'll save that one. Come out. We'll skip that and come back to it. So another really interesting story. There was a Tampa team arrested on suspicion of being a mastermind between Twitter Bitcoin hack. So apparently, what this kid did, and I'm not gonna name his name, but because he's 17, he was arrested. Let's see, what morning was it on? Yeah, he was arrested yesterday morning on being the suspect mastermind behind the July 2020 Twitter hack that affected dozens of high-profile accounts, including Kanye West, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. After compromising the logins of Twitter employees, the hackers were able to access control of various high-profile accounts by using admin tools to reset their passwords. The hack had each account request Bitcoin in exchange for double the amount sent to the account. So if y'all don't remember this, there were a bunch of accounts that were hacked, and they were asking for Bitcoin amounts to come in. Well, basically what these hackers did, is they gained access to employee accounts, which gave them basically the keys to the kingdom. And that goes to say one thing that a lot of us know, that a hacker doesn't have to sit 3,000 miles away and try to break into your system. They don't have to try to break into your computer. All they have to do is find a back door in. And that could be tricking employees, compromising employees. So what I'm thinking is going to happen over at Twitter is one of two things. Either a lot of people either some people get fired, and or they wind up changing a lot of their policies and tightening security down. But I don't know. I expect to see a lot of people from Twitter be tendering their resumes. So there's that. Okay, so going back to the So everybody knows the reason why I'm rambling and talking about these news stories. Widow had to step away for a few minutes, and so now the show is mine, and I have the keys to the kingdom. I own it, and we're just talking about whatever I want to at this point. Okay, so Gaming Fur, thank you, man. He said G4 is one of his favorite channels. Hope they do the revive right. Yes, I agree. My concern is a lot of times when they do these revivals or reboots, we've seen how networks have royally screwed that. And considering Comcast is at the helm of this, that does not give me much hope, because I don't have much hope for Comcast. If they can't get internet service right, how do I expect them to get a channel right? And then, yeah, Kelly, man, just because if y'all remember in the early days, or actually near the waning days, one of the things that drove people to G4 TV was because of the fact that they were part of the gamer community. They encouraged it, but they also made it to where even if you weren't a gamer, because I was more into the technology side of things, I don't play video games much, if any, and my deal was I liked it when they talked about technology or some type of advancement. And my big concern is, or not concern at this point, let me go back. So if they keep that, I will be happy. I hope they do it. They do that part right. But again, my big concern when these big tech companies decide, or tech companies, but providers or whomever decide to do a reboot, a lot of times it's turned into a spectacular disaster because the parent company tries to maintain too much control of it, and they try to control the direction. And the thing about G4 TV is there was so much that was freeform about it. It's not like they it's not like they how can I say it? They were too well scripted or too locked down. The only thing that really guided them away from anything super controversial was, can we get dinged by the FCC for this? And if the answer was yes, then they wouldn't cover it. But everything else was fair game. So I'm like, cool. So let's look at this other news story. By the way, I'm getting a lot of these stories from Cheeseburger because they have a news section. So for those of you who like space aliens and think Men in Black is a cool series, which I like the movie series, the Pentagon is set to release findings from UFO research program. Does this mean that we are going to get more info on aliens? I mean, the Navy a few months ago released footage of UFOs, and they do look pretty convincing. And in fact, a lieutenant commander was on the Joe Rogan podcast. And in order for someone to be a pilot in the Navy or the Air Force, especially a fighter pilot, you have to be an officer. So when that guy's a lieutenant commander, I think that's an 04, if I'm correct, if I remember things correctly. So he was in it for a while, and he was talking about his experience because he had some of the footage too that he brought onto the Joe Rogan podcast of what him and some of his fellow pilots experienced. And so it showed this long cylindrical tube that moved in ways that none of the aircraft that we have on Earth today could. And these guys were talking about it from their own experience. So the article here about Men in Black, or not Men in Black, but about the UFO research, says roughly 2.5 years since the New York Times released its bombshell report about the government's Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, or ATIP, the Times reports that the Pentagon is preparing to make some of those findings public. The sporadic appearance of UFO, or as the government designates them, unidentified aerial phenomena.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
No problem.
I had an important phone call.
Gotcha. Once again, sent social media users into a tizzy. We're talking about the Pentagon is about to release findings from UFO research program. And
yay.
Yep. So there was a story, since you had that phone call, there was a story I was saving to discuss with you. So do you remember when Tool's newest album was released and how that just exploded the moment it was released?
Well, yeah. I mean, people have been waiting 13 years for it.
Okay. Do you remember Taylor Swift fans having a complete and total meltdown because of the results that came in after the opening week sales?
Yeah.
Well, for the people who don't know, Taylor Swift fans went in a total meltdown because Tool was the number one, Fear Inoculum was the number one selling album that week, knocking Taylor Swift's album, keeping her from getting the number one spot during its debut because they were both released the same day. And so these Taylor Swift fans just lose it. They start tweeting, who is this dad band from the 90s? Nobody's heard of them. Nobody likes them. And they just lost it. And it was one of the funniest things because they were like, all right, Swifties, we got to do this. We got to stop. We got to prevent this from happening next week. Because it wasn't just Taylor Swift fans. It was also fans of Lana Del Rey. Well, Taylor Swift released another album, Folklore, and the music critic from Pitchfork has started receiving phone calls and death threats because he gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh,
it was a she, Jillian. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, Taylor Swift's music is garbage, so
I'm surprised she got it that high. She got a rating that high. But here's some of the tweets they have. One person says, Jillian Mapes better sleep with an eye open tonight. That was a Taylor Swift fan saying that. Somebody else has got a video I'm not going to watch. How at Pitchfork, how about you hire some indie/alt reviewers? We'll donate money. Okay. Pitchfork is like the hipster magazine, and it is like indie and alt all the way. When did Taylor Swift become indie or alt rock or alt music? I'm not even going to call it alt rock, because to me, what is considered alternative today is not alternative.
Well, no, the fact that, you know, she continues to put out garbage music for people who have the musical education equivalent of a eggplant is beyond me. I mean, honestly, this is we're referencing a quote unquote artist who gets in a relationship. It goes crazy, probably because of her. She breaks up with said person and then makes a record out of it. What in the unholy fuck does that that's just absolutely I mean, the turds in my cat's litter box have more talent than Taylor Swift. I mean, my cats could probably write a top 10 pop single, and they're cats. I mean, just, oh my God, like pop music has all, with the exception of, you know, going back, you know, into like the earth, like the 70s and 80s. There were a few shining stars there, but pop music has always been pretty much just trash.
Well, and what's really interesting is you look at the charts throughout the years. You go get a chart from 1976, and you will see only a few of those songs that our parents remember, or that we know because our parents would sing them. The overall majority of songs that are released are quickly forgotten, and they're either something that, and some of them are actually really good songs, but the big connection is with culture. You know, does the song connect with culture? And sometimes some of the worst and dumbest songs out there will actually make a connection, whereas really well-crafted songs won't. And then people remember the dumb songs.
I really, oh man, don't even really get me started on that. I mean, the term. I mean, there have been plenty of one-hit wonders throughout music, and yeah, every time I start talking about music and all of that shit and the way that it's going, it just pisses me off, because it's an art form that shouldn't be. It's an art form that shouldn't be suffering the way that it is. You know, music has actually been considered a actual form of magic, because it's the will of the person to create it, and comes from the training and the will and the power of the person who is making it. So it's it's something that should be taken very seriously. And then you get these people who, and yes, okay, a good singer is relevant for the most part, but you get these people on these shows like American Idol and The Voice and all this other garbage, and they're really not earning anything. They're not earning whatever contract or whatever they're actually going to throw at them. They're not earning shit. They're not sweating and traveling all over the country and, not, sleeping in their vans or hauling their own equipment in or any of this. They're not doing that. They're just some moron who got lucky enough to get picked by people who really don't have an ear for music, regardless of who they are. And then they get thrown on national television for the nation to decide who gets to move forward. I mean, that's just it's the biggest load of bullshit that I have ever seen in my life. And to be perfectly honest with you, like, okay, like take the show like America's Got Talent. Like they'll let somebody get up there and like spit fire and swallow swords and all this other kind of stuff, but you let like a band get up there and actually try to do something, like actually show that they have talent, and they'll kick them off right away.
Well, see, now I would argue though that the people who do win those competitions like American Idol, and while a lot of them have been struggling and they've been, playing gigs day in and day out, and then they're like, well, I'll give it a shot here, and they audition on American Idol, they make it all the way through. I would say, according to culture and the way people value music, those people did earn it. It's not, maybe not in the way that we normally see it or would expect it to be seen, but I would say they did earn it, because it's what the people who watch those shows were looking for, and it's what the record labels who sponsored those TV shows were looking for too. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that with American Idol and America's Got Talent, those are owned by Simon Fuller, who was a producer. And the American Idol deal is one of the worst things that any musician or singer could have. There was the year that Carrie Underwood won it, there was another guy by the name of Mario. I can't remember his full name, but he had made it to the final 12, and then he backed out. And the reason why I remember this is we covered this in my class. This was a huge discussion in my one of my music business classes. And one of the things that they said is this guy, Mario, he backed out of signing the contract because he had previously had a record deal or had been signed to a record label singing demos. But when you look at the deal that you got with American Idol, Simon Fuller, the producer, took half of everything you made. When in reality, a manager is only supposed to take like 10 to 15% off the top of what you make. The record label, or you got an agent, he takes about maybe 5 to 10%. But all in all, when you look at the people who get a cut of your income, it actually totals less than 50%. And so what some of these deals these record labels were doing, and especially that one, they were getting more than what they should have, and they tied these artists to a ridiculously tight, like legally binding contract, and whenever one of those artists gets a chance to get out of their contract, they take it, which is what Kelly Clarkson did. It's what Carrie Underwood did. And if you notice, those are really the only two American Idol winners that anybody still remembers. And how many seasons did the show run in its original run?
Don't know and don't care.
Yeah, but think about it from a music business standpoint. That was a very good proposition that Simon Fuller had, because what he did is the show made like millions of dollars because of all the people tuning in and all the ad revenue that they were making off of it. And then he had two multi-platinum selling artists that everybody still remembers. And granted, he's not seeing a dime from their new releases and new performances. He still made bank off of it. And then he went and started So You Think You Can Dance and all these other shows.
Everyone poops, but not everyone got home to the show, jackass.
Oh gosh.
Good one, Gamey Ferg. Good one. I will.
See, and that's a good point, because a lot of people sing, but not everybody becomes famous for it. Steve-O
got famous for like beating the shit out of himself and all of that.
Puking.
Yeah, and pooping and
pouring stuff in his eyes. Aaron was the pooping guy.
Okay, yeah, Steve-O got famous, and also got famous for putting stuff up his butt.
No, that was Ryan Dunn that did that.
No, it was Steve-O too, because remember, Steve-O did the butt chug.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. By the way,
hang on. Let's see. My musician friends that play the gigs at the little bars and live off tips and merch say they won't do those shows because it takes from the art of it and distorts what they do.
Well, and I would say in their case, that is right. But for a lot of other people, they wanted to make it big. And for them to make it big, it was like not really a compromise of their art, because for them, it was like just kind of part of it.
I mean, if you want to make money doing music, I mean, that's fine. But one of my points about that is, excuse me, is do it on your own terms. Like, that's one thing that, like, a lot of
what if that is their own terms, to make it onto a show and win the competition? I mean, they are willingly.
I'm not talking about the people that just get picked at random to go and make themselves look like blithering idiots on national television. They weren't picked at random. Huh?
They weren't picked at random. They went and competed.
Well, I mean, tomato, in my opinion. But what my point is anybody like a band, like, and not like these pop bands that you hear on the radio and shit, because they're clearly not in control of what they're doing. They're being told what to do. But when you look at take a lot of like metal bands like Slayer and Pantera and definitely not Metallica, but I'd even throw Megadeth in there. They pretty much told the labels that they were signing with, we're doing this our own way. So you either like it or we're not, we won't sign with you.
Well, you see, even those bands at some point, they started receiving pressure because
they'll receive pressure when it's coming down to the wire to try to get an album out, or like they're not necessarily putting out not putting out an album like every 6 months to a year. They'll be in the studio for 2.5, 3 years at a time, and then they start getting pressure because they're just like, okay, look, we need this. What have you got? And yes, they'll get pressure from their record labels, but these quote unquote like pop artists and shit, they they're basically they're just like, show up here, we have a songwriter for you, we've put this band together for you, you don't know who any of these people are, sing the songs that are shoved in front of you, written not by you but by someone else. And
those artists, those artists do have a say so in the overwhelming majority of cases. They do have a say so in what songs they sing. It is very rare, unless again it's like one of the American Idol type of competitions, depending on the contract. That they do make choices as to which songs they sing, because the way that it works.
But they're not writing them.
It doesn't matter. They don't. I mean, you don't have to write the song to sing it well or to have a hit song. I mean, George Strait.
But it doesn't. It to me it means less. If you're singing a song that you didn't write, and even if you can put some kind of, certain inflection on it that makes it sound even better or something like that, that to me is meaningless.
So what do you think about cover tunes? When bands write their own songs, do covers?
Well, that's a cover song, but and bands have been doing that for decades.
And bands have made a lot of money off of a cover tune becoming a hit single.
And I understand that, but my point is, I'm talking about the actual act of sitting down and writing the song yourself, like you see Zakk Wylde doing, like sitting down with an acoustic guitar and a piano and writing everything himself, or Phil Anselmo for Down or Superjoint, like he writes all that shit. That's all from him.
Here's the big gaping holes in that argument, though. There are some songwriters who are not good performers, and there are some performers who are not good songwriters. And you can pair a great songwriter with a great performer and have a winning combination. A great example of that, I know you don't like country music, because I don't either, but a great example of that is George Strait. He only, I think, wrote maybe one song in his entire career. Every other song was written by a songwriter, but they were like, the people who the songwriters knew he was their best avenue to get them to sing the songs that they had written. When I was interning, I interned for a songwriter, and he actually had a career as a musician. And his agent came to him and said, "Look, we got one of two routes. If you go as a solo artist, you're going to be competing with people like John Michael Montgomery, or you could write songs for John Michael Montgomery. Gary, I get to be a songwriter and I get to stay at home and live with my family and see my kids every day. I'll take that option." He took that option, became a co-writer on the song "I Swear" that was actually sung by, I think, John Michael Montgomery and then covered by the band All for One. And he became a huge...
All for One was not a band.
But,
All for One was not a band.
They are a vocal group. It doesn't matter.
But that doesn't make them a band.
Okay. That's not the point of the argument. That's not the point of what I'm making.
I understand it's not the point of the argument. I'm just simply pointing out the fact that vocal groups are not bands.
Okay, you're missing my point, though. My point is it can work for people, and it does work for people, because I know people it's worked for. There are other people in town that it works for very well. One of the guys that was a client at a couple of jobs back that I had was a big-time songwriter, and I don't like the guys that he writes for because they're all bro country guys, but the guy has a very nice life, and those bro country guys have a very nice life as a result. And those bro country artists and bands actually did go out and they did put their nose to the grindstone. And some of them are writing their own songs, and sometimes like half their songs are originals on the album. and others are done by professional songwriters. And one of the things,
but look at like a majority of the half-wits that actually listen to that bullshit.
dude, people say the same thing about every genre, though. I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know. I don't like country music, and I definitely, yeah, exactly, Rhythm Light. I don't like country music. I don't like bro country. I think it's a scourge on the music industry. And I think it's a scourge on the town of Nashville because, you've got so much of that stuff going around. But
country has completely gone pop or bubblegum pop. That's exactly.
It's totally not country. Bro country is to country music what a lot of hair metal was to metal, and you know how much I love hair metal, so it pains me to say that. But if you compare the two, where bro country is at its popularity versus where hair metal was at the same time, the trajectory is the same.
And once again, it all goes back to the half-wits that are dumb enough to actually buy into that bullshit and buy it.
Possibly. Are you there? Yeah, I am. Possibly, but...
Well, no, there's no possibly to it. Okay, let's compare apples and oranges here for just a minute. Because you done got me on my soapbox now, bro. So this is going to be music sermon with Widow's Son. So everybody open your Bibles to music, non-bullshit music, chapter 4, verse 17 through 99. And I read. So anyway, okay. Oh, look who's here.
Wanderer!
Came to say fucking Cyrus Oblivion for trapping StooDogg in the bathroom in purgatory. Wanderer, we've been waiting for you. You weren't here when we got started. The chat's been a little empty without you. I hate how literally all modern country music sounds the same to me. Yes, that is a very good point. And I will be making that point while I stand on my soapbox. So let's compare.
I got a response to Crivel after that. That does fit into what he's saying. But anyway, continue on with your soapbox.
Okay, so let me preach on it. So take your average country show and take your average metal show. Two completely different ends of the spectrum, yes, but the half-wits that are going to go to the quote-unquote country show, they're going to get drunk, they're going to fight in the audience, they're going to deliberately try to start a bunch of bullshit, and it's, they're the ones who clearly make the music look more shitty than it already is. Because, I'm sorry, I am absolutely just, I like bluegrass, I like old school country, I love old outlaw country like Hank Sr. and, Chris Christopherson and like the Highwaymen. The Highwaymen, like I love all four of them. Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, for fuck's sake, and Willie Nelson. That
reminds me, before I forget. So one of the things I did when I was in school, I had to do a radio commercial, and I did a radio commercial for Preparation H using Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire.
Wait, do what now?
So I had to do a radio commercial for one of my classes, for my radio, television, and film class. And I did a Preparation H commercial using Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire in the background.
Oh, hang on. Let's see. Wanderer says, only for a moment to say hello because he's currently hanging out with some friends. Geometry Dash. Well, hey, Doc. Right now is the time for. And before we continue with what we're discussing, once again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug the upcoming battle royal. Between Wanderer and Dr. Cyrus there, coming up in the few weeks. We're working out some details and all this other kind of stuff. So everybody everybody make sure that you tune into that, because there's no money involved. There's no it's for bragging rights. And Doc and I have been working on an idea for the winner. So we'll be dropping details here and there. But Wanderer, thank you for popping in. I know you can't stay very long. Just be sure to, hang on. What is this? Oh, wow. Oh, man. Dude. He's going to come at you like a wrecking ball, bro.
Large hats have been outlawed in the land of gamers. Well, good thing, because I don't hang out in the land of virgins, so we're there.
Things will get twisted. Yes, they will. I mean, there are going to be some rules. They're going to be, but we're gonna, we're piecing this battle royal together one day at the time. So, oh yeah, you're welcome. The whole wrecking ball comment. You're welcome. Hey, Wanderer, you may want to watch out, because Doc will start twerking on somebody if they're not careful. So
I've been working on those moves. Why do you think I've been doing
he's gonna twerk on somebody at random, and then he's gonna hit him with a diamond cutter. Hang on, what is this? Doc needs to wear us. No, he does not. We do not hate on the size of the cowboy hat. The big cowboy hat is perfect. So
I like it.
Well, we know you do, because you're probably, trying to overcompensate, but that's beside the point.
Well, as I continue to lose weight, the hat's going to get bigger.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, bro. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Going for a run right before bed helps. Rival, he needs a
bigger.
Rival
says he needs a bigger one. Hey,
wow. Do you see what you started, Wanderer?
Less is not more.
Does that mean Gaming Fur is on my side of this? Or are you my quarterman? Gaming Fur, are you my quarter woman, man? Please, I need someone in my corner.
I'm a neutral party, so I can pick at both of you.
You're the guest referee.
Yeah, I'm the referee. It's like I told you. You consider me Eric Bischoff, bitches, because I'm the one that signed this match, and I'm the special guest referee. So
can I just say you're more like Mike Tyson and the Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels match?
No, you may not, because I'm way more handsome than Mike Tyson. See, the Doc looks worse than my friend, and he just fell off a chair.
Wait, you've got a friend?
If he gets a bigger hat, Doc will have a smaller head by then.
Welcome to streaming. Everyone makes fun of you. Oh, that's been my life story, man. Golly.
Oh yeah, like for both of us, like like me too. I was picked on relentlessly in school, like all the time. I was, I'm a pretty hefty guy, and I've been big my whole life. But when I was in school, man, I got shit like from everybody, just like non-stop. Well, except for like, let's see, hang on, my bandana has more swag than your goofy ass hat, but that's all, folks. No more roasts until I kick your ass, poop man.
Look, if I didn't wear the goofy hat, none of the other guys around town would have a shot with the ladies.
Well, no. You've already confirmed that. Now you have ordered the giant cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When is it due to arrive?
Don't know. I'll have to look that up later.
Okay. Now, oh God, I wish that I could. I wish I could travel up there, and you and I, like go out drinking with you wearing the giant foam cowboy hat.
I'm not going out during this pandemic.
So what are you gonna like, get on like some of like, are you gonna start just talking to like cam girls wearing your big cowboy hat? Is that what it is?
No. No, I'm definitely avoiding all the downtown areas because here the roasting dock gets fun. Well, all the downtown areas here are not enforcing any of the rules that are supposed to be with a bandana suit. Don't you mean banana suit?
Wanderer apparently is going to come at you like all like 90s gangsta style, wearing like, like the sagging khakis. He's going to have his bandana on his head, probably some shades or maybe another bandana around his face or something. You never know, man. You never know. Might have to step up your game and wear 2 large foam cowboy hats. I wish you luck in picking up e-girls with your large hat of supremacy. Oh, Wanderer, I hate that you can't stick around this evening, but I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch with you here within the next day or two.
See, I'm letting him get his shots in while he can because he's gonna use them all up.
No. Do you really think that he's going to use all his shots up, like just coming into shows until we have the battle? I think not.
Did you not watch any fights with Muhammad Ali?
Oh God!
Now
you're trying to compare yourself to Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, because I'm great.
No, you are not the greatest. You are not the greatest.
Okay, fine. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever has been.
No, you are not Bret Hart. And don't even say that you're the man because you're not Ric Flair and you're sure as hell not Becky Lynch.
I know I'm not Becky Lynch because I'm not pregnant. So
if you were in fact a woman, then you would never go out in public because you wouldn't be able to stop touching yourself. And notice how quiet he got, everybody, because he knows that I'm telling the truth.
No, I am just trying to not make a joke that can be later used against me.
On what, me or Wanderer?
No. With all the bots that are out there today and the cancel culture that we deal with, I'm very careful with what I say on the show.
Yeah, but it's like Wanderer said, good luck trying to pick up e-girls with your giant foam cowboy hat.
Little finger ones. Oh man, that would actually be good. That gave me an idea. So you could actually get a hat made and have shurikens all around it. So that way, if you ever needed to use a weapon, it looks like a decoration. You can just take one off and just throw it at someone.
Doc would be better like John Cena, only you can't see him.
It's a funny story.
I actually made that. I made that joke last night. Doc and I were talking on Facebook Messenger about the show today, and suddenly, like his video image disappeared, and then it came back on, and I just blurted out. He's like, "Can you see me?" I said, "Yes, I can. You're not John Cena, but because I can see you."
Well, my cousin, the cousin I told you about last night.
Yeah,
he was about 4 or 5 and was really big into professional wrestling, and John Cena was his favorite. And he was just being a little turd one day when all the family was together. And as he's leaving the room, and it was kind of funny how he was behaving, but as he's leaving the room, he just randomly turns around, waves his hand in front of his face, and goes, "You can't see me!" And then just like kept going. And at that time, we didn't know he watched wrestling. And then when we found that out, my brother and I just lost it. Because it's a 4-year-old kid saying that.
right.
If it's a 15-year-old saying it, it's not funny. But if it's a 4-year-old, oh, it's hilarious.
I'm glad that Wanderer popped in because he really got me down. He got me down off my soapbox because yeah, it would have gotten really ugly had I stayed on that one. No, you do not need a cowboy hat on the top of your head and your other head, you sick fucking weirdo. He's wanting to put a cowboy hat on the little Doc, everybody. That's what he's trying to.
You're supposed to keep that in our private chat, doofus.
Why? No. Actually, I don't have to, because while I was on my phone call, I could still hear what you were saying, and you were just like, "Show's mine now. I got the keys to the kingdom." Bullshit. You, sir, are just a palace guard.
Well, you were pooping earlier.
Do what?
You were pooping earlier. You didn't take a phone call.
No, I was on a phone call.
Okay, well, that killed that momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't back anything up. So, you know what?
I don't have a camera at your place.
Don't start on me. You need to save your energy for the match between you and Wanderer. You know, don't shoot your wad too early.
Well, I'm going to be like Stone Cold. I'm going to attack everybody in the ring.
Oh, I thought you were just going to, start going around saying, What? I'm like, dude, get a hearing aid.
What?
Oh, God.
Like,
if you wish that you could reach through your screen right now and slap Doc upside the head, hit number 7 in the chat.
If you would rather slap Widow's son, hit number 8 in the chat.
Hat condom for all the e-girls he gets with his giant hat. Okay,
I see how it is.
One for you. Come on, everybody! Come on, they're.
I always want to slap Doc.
Oh, now wait a minute! Now, how are you going to say that to both of us? You only get one goddamn vote.
No, we didn't say limit 1 per customer.
No, it's one man, one vote. So kiss my white Irish ass.
Okay, hit 9 if you want to hit both of us.
K-Dog, you don't get a third vote, okay?
K-Dog, hit 9.
Shut up. You do not get a third vote. You cast your first vote, which was to slap Doc upside the head. Then you just thought you'd be clever and try to slip one in on me. Well, it don't work that way.
So far, dude, we're looks like we're tied. Except, actually, I'm probably in the lead on that because Crivel always wants to slap me, and he never mentioned slapping you.
I don't give him a reason to want to.
Yes! We're tied, buddy. Oh, man. This has been a good one.
Yeah.
I'm liking this one.
This is, oh God, everybody's just turning against us.
Dude, it's the way our audience is. If I slap Duck so hard, I might knock off his big cowboy hat.
Knock off his big cowboy hat.
Man, I'm way ahead of you. I have that thing super glued and stapled to my head, so you're going to have to hit really hard.
I mean, that's just kind of messed up. I mean, in rhythm there, just, starting, trying to be all like, I'm going to be clever and I'm going to slap both of them. And then maybe everybody else will slap both of them. Ooh.
You're acting more like a heel than you are a face.
Who?
You are. You're insulting the audience.
Well, right now, I mean, they've turned on us. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Embrace it. Sometimes those.
I am embracing it. Like I know who Rhythm is, and trust me, I will take care of them in due time. But everybody else, like Crivel, man, I thought we were cool, man. I thought we were cool. Hang on, what is this? Let's see. He never takes it off. He showers with it on too. You are too late, as his hat has grown so large that it now encompasses his entire being. No. K-Dog, you voted for Doc first. Then you tried to squeeze in a second vote.
But he didn't.
Now you're trying to squeeze in a third vote. Nobody else here got a second and third vote. So why do you think you're so special?
Okay, so everybody else, you get 3 votes too.
No, shut your hole. You can't be mad at the audience. The audience can only get mad at you. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, man. So speaking of getting mad at the audience and stuff, that got me thinking about pro wrestling and heels and this whole SmackDown talk that we were doing. Did anyone see Extreme Rules?
Really? You want to bring up the horror, the quote unquote horror show?
Yeah.
I refuse to have anything to do with their new stuff. But what I think you're doing right now is just trying to take some of the heat off yourself because Wanderer popped in here and he was only.
I go running every day in the heat.
Lord help me. Go ahead. Hang on. What is this?
Yes!
No, Doc is a total heel. I've always been more of a face. I can turn heel when
I've always been a heel, some type of practical joker.
Yeah, I can. I'm pretty much a face, but I can turn heel when I need to.
Dude, some of the heel turns that they've done have been pretty cool.
I haven't watched any of the new shit in years, man.
See, I
Like,
thought it was well, when the Rock started off, he was originally a face, and he
well,
did.
yeah, he was a face. Yeah, he was a face when he was Rocky Maivia. He started turning heel when he joined the Nation of Domination.
Yeah,
Then he split from the Nation of Domination and went to the Corporation, and he was still heel there. And then when he left the Corporation and became the People's Champ, is when he actually went face. He actually went heel as just The Rock by himself. He actually went heel for a little while, but it didn't work.
yeah. It's. I mean, people can say what they want to about Vince McMahon, but during the Attitude Era, he knew. I mean, he was at the top of his game when he knew the perfect timing to make someone go heel or turn them face.
Is that your superpower, to turn heel? Yeah, that's Doc's superpower. That's totally Doc's superpower. Or if you're talking about me, yes, it is my superpower to go from face to heel when I need to. I can do it at will.
Yeah, some of the ones they've had though have been I mean, they've had some great heel turns and face turns throughout the Attitude Era. And The Rock, I think, is probably the best example of that because they turned him heel, turned him face at the right time.
No, there have been way better heel turns.
Oh yeah, that's right, K
There have
Dog.
been way better heel turns. No, the best heel turn of all time was Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan. That was a great one. And the Undertaker when he turned heel for a while.
I was not aware of that. Okay, yeah, that was just solo Rock, you know,
Oh,
at the
dude,
time not being the people's champion, like just being, you know,
dude, talk about the Rock and Sock connection, and check your messages.
well, I mean the Rock and Sock connection. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, it's one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I mean,
Dude,
huh?
no, keep going, keep going.
I mean, Mankind, aka Mick Foley, and The Rock together. I mean, you couldn't stop them. But
And I think too that showed the Rock's like comedic timing because a lot of people because he was the straight man to Mick Foley's goofy character or goofy version of Mankind, and I
yeah,
thought because it's sometimes harder to be the straight man in a comedy duo because you can't laugh. You have to look at the guy like he's an idiot, and The Rock just pulled that off perfectly, especially when they did the Rock "This Is Your Life" segment, and they are bringing everybody out from The Rock's past.
yeah, I remember that.
Oh gosh, that was such a. That was like Mick Foley, like to perfection.
Um, hang on, let's. Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they man, the well and they worked it's one of those things where it was just an example of how, because The Rock, when he looks back on that, he said it was like one of his favorite experiences. He was like, I absolutely loved working with Mick Foley, and Mick Foley.
But how could you not love working with Mick Foley? I mean, come on.
Well, and Mick Foley said too, he was like, I realized my place was to help push him over, because he was like, this guy was the face of the company at the time. And he said, so Mick Foley knew his place. He wasn't trying to steal the spotlight. He was, doing more than anything else to magnify the spotlight on The Rock. And I mean, and The Rock is just such a humble guy too, because whenever they want him to come back to do a WrestleMania or to do a segment, he's there. And, but yeah, he's one of those guys. He is a genuinely good guy, and the McMahons love him because they're like, he hasn't forgotten his roots. Other wrestlers liked working with him because they knew when they worked with him they were going to shine, because he was that good, and he made other people look good because that's what he strove for. And that's what probably made him such a good heel, because from what I understand, it's the heels that usually call the matches. And a lot of wrestlers who never went heel don't go heel because they're horrible at calling matches.
Well, here's my whole thing. The one person that right now, or within like the last, let's say the last 10 years, that should have turned heel was John Cena.
Yeah, and the main reason why Vince McMahon wouldn't turn him heel, there was at the height of his career, which is sometimes the exact moment you want to turn someone heel. They had a whole bunch of merchandise that had his face on it, and Vince was like, well, it's sometimes they were like, he was afraid in John Cena's case it would wreck their merchandise sales. Whereas with The Rock, no matter what The Rock did, whether it was him being heel or face, they sold merchandise because it had his face on it.
No, I think more people would have rallied back behind John Cena if he had actually turned heel.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree, because it would have been a completely different take on his character. And there have been a lot of wrestlers who have said they wanted to explore the full depths of their character, which is why they went heel or they turned face, and they constantly flip back and forth, because it helps them build up the character. And when you look at somebody like The Undertaker, how many evolutions his character had, it makes sense that he had to evolve his character throughout each different era, because otherwise it's just stagnant.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, Doc has always been a heel. He plays a very convincing face, but behind the face is still the heel. So it's all a charade.
This is true. I am definitely a heel. I am always doing something to get in trouble,
but
get chastised by everyone for it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you enjoy getting chastised by everyone because that turns your crank, and we all know it.
Yeah.
I mean, we know all of your dirty little secrets there, Doc. I mean,
yeah, man. So
your silence speaks volume.
No. I'm trying to think of. So I'm looking over here at K-Dog's comments about The Rock and Foley and Rock, and he said the fans would boo Cena back then, but since he never went heel, I like the rapper John Cena. Yeah,
I always did too, because that was creative on his part.
Well, he was the one who took the championship belt and made it a spinner.
And
No, I wasn't saying that was a bad thing. I was saying he's the one who did that, because Daniel Bryan, when he was the WWE champion, he had his to be eco-friendly, and it was like made out of hemp and wood. And once, I can't remember who defeated him to win it, but once he lost the title, the other person just threw the hemp one, the eco-friendly one, in the trash and reclaimed the old one.
They need to they need to throw all the new ones in the trash and reclaim the old ones, because the new ones look like absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Well, I wonder too, like, because if you remember back in the day, you had the two biggest belts in the WWE that people wanted were the Intercontinental and the Championship belt. There were three. You had the Intercontinental, the Heavyweight, and the Championship, the WWF Champion. And the Intercontinental one has just kind of fallen by the wayside. Nobody's really, like, or it fell by the wayside. I don't even know if they still have that. And
Cadenza, I mean, we know you do. I remember you saying that one time. You have the space aids.
oh yeah, you're right, K-Dog. It was Kofi Kingston. I was trying. I thought it was him, but I didn't want to like come out and say it wrong. But yeah, because I remember when he won it, he basically threw Daniel's his version of the belt out. But yeah, Daniel Bryan, like, it was surprising to see him go heel the way that he went heel. I think honestly, I think probably one of the better showmen in the WWE right now is Bray Wyatt. Because when he first came out with the Wyatt family, I really didn't like that character, but he grew on me. And then seeing him do stuff as the Fiend, and then he does stuff as himself as Bray Wyatt. I mean, he's out of everybody there. I mean, he's, to me, like, as far as his acting chops, I think he's the one who has the best run of them.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't. I mean, those particular ones, like, I really don't know much about at all.
Yeah, and I hate how the WWE like cleaned up their act and they made it go family friendly, because you won't see the legendary fights that put them over the top. It was basically like they adopted the Attitude Era just to, dude. It's like the Attitude Era. They did that just to get over WCW, and then once they got over it, it was okay. Cool, we're pulling the plug on all of the stuff that made us who we are.
No, you're good, Cadenza. I understand. I mean, people, feel bad sometimes, and they can't pop in. I mean, it's perfectly understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, K-Dog. We agree with you. Both of us have said this. WWE sucks being PG. I do like the fact that they really, one thing I do think is good in the PG era that they did is that they have more of the women championship belts, because the women wrestlers are equivalent to the male cruiserweights in that they are much more technical than the heavyweights. And another thing people don't realize too is that it was WCW creating the cruiserweight division that forced WWE's hand to create their own version of the cruiserweight division. And I mean, the cruiserweights, man, those guys are insane to watch. Like they'll do so much acrobatic stuff, and they'll do stuff that you're like, man, I didn't know that a human body could do that.
Well, I mean, you're not going to find really a group of more talented people than you had back in the early The early '90s and the 2000s.
Yeah.
So I mean, you may as well just. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you really have to take that into consideration. But you know, I don't really like honestly, the last week or so, um, you know, the last the last week or so, after getting moved in here and getting my other cat back, my little black cat. Um, you know, I've just been just trying to basically just kind of trying to hang on. Um, you know, stress and everything, and finally getting to where I feel more comfortable where I am now. Like the last couple of weeks have really been rough on me, and to the people that I stay in touch with through Discord and who pop in here every week, if you've been sending me thoughts and good vibes and everything, I really appreciate it. Um, the last couple of weeks have really just been hard on my self and my mental state and everything. There's been some good things that have come out of it, um, but I want you all to know that I'm really grateful for every single one of you. Um, all of you that come in here and every week and pick at me and pick at me and Doc and you know communicate with us in the chat and leave the thumbs ups and the comments and stuff. It really helps. It really does, and it makes doing this. I don't know. I'm sorry. I have something stuck in my throat. It makes doing this a little more worth. It makes it more worthwhile. It really does. And Doc and I have talked a lot, and we agree that we want to take this as far as we can. Um, but it's because of you guys that come in here every week and show us support and joke with us and all of that. You're the main reason why we're here. So I know I say it all the time, and I mean it. Thank you guys for coming in every week and hanging out with us, and just sharing a laugh or two, and that's what that's what we're here for. And we're like I said, we're going to take this as far as we can and see where it goes. And who knows, maybe we can try to start making a tiny living off of YouTube, which would be fun. But you know thank you guys, thank you all again for your support. It means the world to me. And if you know anybody, and I know I say this every week, if you know somebody who would enjoy the show and would like to start tuning in on a regular basis, send them a link to the channel. Have them listen to some episodes. Have them hit the subscribe button, get the notification bell on. We would we appreciate all the support that we can get. Um, so um,
Yeah, and I enjoy the show a lot. I can't say that enough. I mean, it's one of the highlights of my week.
it's the only time during the week that he's not touching himself.
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean,
No, this is a fun experience, and it's a after working your butt off all week, it's a nice way just to kind of relax and have a conversation with a guy that's been my friend for years that I'm not going to add up right now.
It's been, we're coming up. Let's see, we both graduated 2000, right? I graduated 2000.
I did too.
Okay, so yeah, we're coming up on 20 years. Actually, we're probably right at 20 years. So, but
Man, that's wild to think about.
Yeah, God, don't even get me started. But we are so in the next couple of weeks, since we're kind of getting down here to the last few minutes, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a panel show with myself, Doc. Cryvale has agreed to come on. I'll just need to get in touch with him and find out about the time. Cadenza, if you're still around, you're more than welcome to come on and join the panel. We'll just kind of pick topics at random and discuss them amongst ourselves. I'm going to try to get in touch with Sir Hatman, see if he would like to join us. Actually, I need to reach out to him and see if he would want to come back and do the show with us sometime. Haven't talked to Sir Hatman in a while with everything that's been going on, and I know he likes to listen later on sometimes, and sometimes he'll just stand in the shadows and listen. So Sir Hatman, when you hear this, hope all is well. Hope you and yours are doing fine. We've got the battle royal between Doc and Wanderer coming up. We're still working out all the details for that, but trust me, all of you who subscribe to our channel that are on the Discord and subscribe to Wanderer's channels, trust me, you'll know when that match is going to take place. And so we're really looking forward to that. Now, we're going to be we're still going to be doing the stream next a week from today, like we always do. The only thing is, it's not going to be at the same time. We're going to be doing a late night stream, which would probably be around midnight our time, midnight Central, 1 a.m. Eastern, and that would be about somewhere between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. UK time. So we're going to be doing a late night one. I'm actually going to be Friday. I'm leaving to go out of town, and then I'll be back. I'll be back Saturday evening, and then I've got somewhere I have to be when I get back to town, and then once I get home, it'll probably be it'll probably be within at least probably 30 minutes of showtime. But we're going to be doing a late night stream a week from today, starting. Excuse me. Starting at midnight, and we'll be going about our normal 2 hours. So we've got those coming up for sure. I'm going to be working on getting some guests in here again soon. And haven't mentioned him yet on the show. StooDogg, if you are listening, we miss you, buddy. Hope everything's going well. Come back to us when you get a chance. Your spot is always here for you. But it is getting about that time of the day. But guys, well, Doc, you got anything you want to do or say, or what have you before we sign out?
No, I'm good. I really enjoy the show. Enjoy the audience. Y'all are great, and look forward to this every week.
Yes, we both do. It is definitely something that, I always look forward to doing every week. And yeah, the show today was a little slow to get started, but it did pick up quite a bit. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Always a pleasure to see every one of you. Cadenza, K-Dog, Gamey Fur, Rhythm, Faith, thank you for tuning in and making us mobile and live and in the car on your little road trip excursion that you're on. So we do appreciate that. Wanderer, thank you for popping in briefly and giving Doc some shit. So that's all. That's always a highlight of the show. But guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in, just as every week, and we look forward to seeing you next Saturday. I'll have everything posted, so if anyone's going to be up and they want to tune into the late night stream and join us, you never know. We may have someone pop in with us and just chat up for a couple hours early in the morning. You never know what may happen. But we will see you next Saturday. And until then,